Very good. Good morning. And you can see like all the experienced folks on the stage. They brought so much energy. They actually impacted a lot. They are building communities. They are working on initiatives, and they are running their own organizations, companies, startups. And I just want to see before we start, we also want to see what's the participation count. How many of you started your own startups? Okay, very good number. Can I see it very high? Raise your hands very high. Okay, a good number. And how many of you people started your own communities? Anyone? Any community leaders here? Yeah, we can also raise. Anyone here? Again, very good number. And how many of you people thinking to start some sort of initiatives or any startups in the future? Any upcoming early entrepreneurs? Oh, man, that's a very good number. Thank you so much for joining. So today we're gonna learn their years of journey, their years of experiences in around like 40 minutes, 1 hour. Let's see. And thank you so much for being part of the panel. And yeah, let's start with Meraj, who is actually running Adventure Park right now. He's the CEO and director, and at the same time, he's also running the hacking school. At Adventure Park, we have like a lot of happening events where he supports youth entrepreneurs every day, every time. So I actually met him in Dubai, and since I know him from very long, in person I met him for first time in Dubai. So he was actually pushing a lot of startups to international markets back then. Still, he's also working on that. So I just want to know, what was your journey, what was the intent, and what experience made you coming on this journey, bro?
I don't want to sound dramatic, but to be very honest, when I started Adventure Park, when we started Adventure Park, the intent or the idea on the community was zero. Right? All we wanted to do was one very tiny little thing without focusing too much on community building or startup building or curating founders and all of that. We did not think of all those big things. The only most important first step, the most important tiny little thing that we wanted to do was identify people with ideas and give them support with whatever they were looking for. That's the only one thing that we started with. And over a period of time now, 3 years now, we've built a community of more than 10,000 people. I'm not sure, and I'm not the right person to say or call yourself a community builder. I'm not. I don't know how to build a community. The only one thing that I know is there are a lot of people out there who are wanting to do a lot of great things. Very nice people to deal with, to work with. It's just that when you start doing something, those people come together and you build it, and it happens.
So right now he's building Good Clap. It's a initiative, non-profit organization where he impacted a lot of thousands of plus schools, more than that. So to be precise, and he also, Vikas brother also works on Good Clap, even though he's working on other ventures. So yeah, what was the experience to start this non-profit organization? Why you want to impact lots of schools, more than that, lots of minds? What made that experience, and why did you start at Good Clap?
Good Clap is not an NGO. Just want to clarify. We are a social enterprise, but we are registered as a for-profit social enterprise. So we are a private limited. Whether we make profits or not is a discussion outside this room. But the idea, anyway, coming back to your question, by qualification I am a chartered accountant. But somehow at some point this entrepreneurship bug bites you. And I was just thinking at one point in my life, okay, I do have a qualification. In case I fail, I can go back and do my CA practice. But because something is burning inside me, can I do something meaningful? Can I do something meaningful that just doesn't help me but goes beyond me and where I can see a direct benefit?
And yeah, I would say like if you want to learn, Nandi Ventures is the founder and co-founder of Nandi Ventures. He actually invests in not ideas, not companies, but in imagination. So I want to know what is the journey like, what is the intent and experience from your side, and what was the journey like to be a part of this journey, building communities, building, investing on the imaginations.
Thank you so much, Karthik. You are also building communities. See, what I believe in is that dreams are the only thing that has shaped the world. The dreams of a handful of people have change the course of humanity forever. And today we see many such dreams sprouting, but it takes an ecosystem to nurture those dreams. So, how many of you here are first generation trying to be entrepreneurs here? Right? So, it's not that easy for a first generation entrepreneur. And we live in a society where the conventional laid out path is given utmost attention. We live in a society where failure is treated as a crime. To start afresh and go on an unwalked path or taking a different path, so it's not easy. And we live in a society where peer-to-peer comparison is a lot. Within siblings also, there's a lot of comparison happening. So it's not that easy to travel this path. So there comes the need for a community. They say that friends are those who believe in you before the world believes in you, right? So identifying the tribe. We missed out on Charan Lakaraja today, but he started something called Student Tribe. It's a community where they're trying to support each other. And I was just mentioning Meraj by just a while ago. If anyone asks me that who is that one person who you respect the most in the startup space, that is Meraj bhai. But I want a big round of applause. And he is someone who believes in you before even your parents believe in you. Even you yourself believe in yourself. And we need people and ecosystems like that, which will empower your dreams in every sense of it. And I can take a couple of things to set the context. Virat always says that we believe in every idea. It's not economically viable, it's not feasible, nothing like that. We believe in every idea, we believe in every dream, and we believe in every person. And in any innovation starts from a free thinking space. So that comes when you have a supporting ecosystem, and just see the difference in the last 10 years. The number of co-working spaces, the work being done by hackathons and innovation centers, clubs, entrepreneurship development cells. Slowly the dream is shifting from a job seeking mindset to a job giver mindset. And ideally we need a lot of mentoring support is needed, lot of funding support is needed. Research says that you take a pool of budding startups in a mature developed economy and take in India over a period of time, if you see the number of companies, infant companies, which are becoming giants in a developed economy is more. But whereas instead of having a lot of passion, very good ideas, many of the startups, infant startups, over a period of time, they are becoming a dwarf. They are not able to reach the full potential. And what the missing link is that mentorship and timely funding support. How an infant needs that nourishment in the early years. Likewise, in the case of startups, and we live in a society where investment in real estate is considered the most important investment. But if you have a very large area of investors in a hall, and so meanwhile, somebody was mentioning in the there, wherever you go, you get the free motivation, right? But the thing is like it is like mindset. Okay. Right now in the journey, like what are the thoughts? How you kept moving with the mindset? How did you build that mindset? And the ventures, whatever we are building, how did you kept moving with the mindset with the time?
I am slightly against the idea of motivation, actually. Okay, and in fact, at Adventure Park, we say this with all due respect. That's not a place for motivational speakers or motivation, because if you are seeking for motivation to do something, then you probably should drop it, because it's very steroid. Right? You need to keep injecting more and more motivation to you, and if you wake up in the morning and you're like, I don't feel motivated to work on whatever you're supposed to be working on, then that's probably not the thing for you, right? Instead of that, what we make sure, right, whatever place that we have managed to create, the people who actually run the place, the purpose of the purpose that you choose to work on, right, that keeps you driving, and that is technically your driving force. That's your motivation to do whatever you're doing, and that should be your motivation to do whatever you are supposed to be doing, regardless of the outcomes, which is the most important part. So there are multiple metrics to look at it, right? The outcome, the output, the impact, right? So your outcome can be different from your output, and that can be different from the impact, right? You can desire for an outcome, but the impact, delivered actual impact, can be something else altogether. Now, the connecting link between all of this is not motivation, that's the purpose, right? So you identify what keeps you, what's that one thing that you want to work on. You identify what's that one thing that you would continue to work on regardless of what people say, regardless of it's working or not, regardless of what the trend looks like, regardless of how cool or not it is, regardless of all those factors, right? You have to be mad enough to believe in that one thing and just keep doing. I keep saying this at Adventure Park, let nothing come in the way of your greatness, not greatness. Because your greatness can be different from my greatness, and everybody can be great and everybody is great is what I basically inherently believe, right? So you wake up with a purpose every morning and you chase it, right? And that unlimited flow of energy comes from the objective, from the outcome that you have desired, right? And the impact that it can create is multifold. It will have ripple effects you might have not even thought of, what you end up doing from what you started versus what you have ended up technically doing. We just want to be a place to incubate people. In fact, we started as a venture fund. We had a corpus of about 25 crore rupees in the first year that we wanted to fund companies with. We couldn't find companies to fund. And when we did not find companies to fund, we took a step back, and that's when we designed a pre-incubation program focusing on people with the most time on their hands, students, right? And that's how it happened. It did not happen with us going to the whiteboard and saying, let's do a student focus, idea stage student focused startup incubator. It did not happen that way. We went to the market wasn't ready for it. We did what the market, what we thought the market was ready for. But if it were recorded like a movie and you rewind and you see, you would have laughed at what we technically did. Right? Everybody said, you guys are stupid to even believe, this to work. We said, yeah, maybe we are stupid enough to believe, but we want to give it a try. Right? And here we are. Right? And this is what put us in touch with all the great folks that I am super fortunate to work with. If it were not for Adventure Park, I wouldn't have come here in the beginning. So, plus the community part, the first question, I'll just double click a little bit on that. We are a very, I don't know how to put it, but for the lack of a better word, we never focused on the community. In fact, we are slightly anti-community. When I say anti-community, it's not that, I don't mean to say we hate it or something, but we never focused on it. For example, the campus leads are the backbone of Adventure Park. Okay? They are the leaders of Adventure Park, they represent Adventure Park on the campuses, right? And we are over more than 75-80 campuses across Telangana, right? But if you look at our campus leads community, that never goes beyond 300-350, because the objective has never been a number. But if you look at the overall community of alumni, campus leads, and all of that we keep graduating the minute you graduate from your college, the number is more than 10,000.
Is it like resonating with the previous people and something like that for upcoming batch or something like that? With the values what we been working on?
We focus on active engagement, right? That's the whole idea.
I had some question on the engagement things because a lot of communities become dead. But that's the one thing.
And that's the most important part.
It's just amazing.
Yes. So we don't focus on numbers. The only number that we focus on is the active engagement part. And that's exactly the reason why you will never see, and realistically our number cannot go beyond 350, right? If it's going beyond 350, then we have to sit back and look. That number can only go beyond 350 if the number of campuses are increasing, right? because every year we need to graduate people because they graduate from the colleges, right? So the focus should shift from numbers, the size of the community, and the focus should shift to the quality of the community. What's in it for us? And one last bit that I would like to touch upon is we emphasize so much on the like-mindedness. I would say appreciate diversity, appreciate the differences, appreciate the plurality of ideas in a community, and that's really important for us to think fresh, for us to think new, for us to innovate, right? We cannot continue to be around people like us and expect us to think different. We continue to think the way we are thinking, and I probably don't think that's going to give us different results. For us to get different and better results, we need to do different and better things, right? And that can come only from different people, right? So we'll have to expose ourselves to that notion of non-like-mindedness, allow ourselves to be.
I have very specific question for Shashank bro, but thank you so much for very many key points were there, like engagement and other things like values, resonate with other people. And for you, brother, we organization which is like providing like lots of impact on the ground. I would like to add a point: how to stay authentic and be transparent on the ground. It's just not just the organization; it also could be on any other startup they are working on, any project they are working on, anything. How to show their authentic and transparent. What make them authentic and transparent? That's the question.
Okay, this is a question. In fact, day before YouTube channel came to our office to interview us. And at the end of the interview, I told this is not looking like an interview, this is looking like an investigation. Because
okay, I'm doing the second investigation on it. It seems like
because we have two products. One is the crowdfunding product for anyone who is in need of education help, for animal care, for climate, or for health crisis, or for even creative projects. People use the Good Claps platform to set up a goal and raise funds. And over the journey, we were able to have funds donated by more than 50,000 people. So recently we celebrated that little milestone. So that's one.
yeah, we have to celebrate here.
Yeah, you can give us a good clap. And the second product we have is, like Meraj said again, we are daring something which probably no one has done so far. Maybe we are a little crazy, maybe we may fail, I don't know. But we are trying to build India's first one of its kind social community, or let's say for a ease of understanding, a social networking platform which focuses on positivity, goodness, impact and causes. So just like how we have LinkedIn for professional networking, just like how we have Uber for the cab services, we have Good Clap, where it is a community where you all can come and discuss something positive. So let's see how it goes, because a lot of people keep saying in the era of Instagram, in the era of 10-second bites, how are you going to sustain, how are you going to create interest, how are you going to engage the community. So that's a task on our hand. Let's see how that goes. But coming back to my interview day before, it was thoroughly an investigation, because they were asking, especially you have a crowdfunding platform, what if someone creates a fake profile, what if someone raises funds, and what if you guys are doing it on someone's behalf, what if you are taking the money back, and their communication through your service. You don't communicate verbally, but you communicate through your actions. For example, we have to pay out, once the funds are raised on the platform, we have to pay out to whoever is in need of the funds. Our team always proactively calls the campaigner and says, would you like us to disperse the funds to you? They say, no, hold it with you, maybe 2 more days time. That is a better way than them chasing us saying, you have our funds, when are you releasing it? I think that gives a very different impression of what we are trying to do. And that defeats the purpose of our impact first, income next sort of a thing. So through your little actions, verbal and non-verbal, you can build trust. And that's how you can actually embed transparency in your entire process.
How can we make youth involve more and more in communities, maybe like this kind of initiatives or non-profit works, so more and more people get benefited more people will receive the right value. It could be any way, might be like food, education, and it could be in many other ways. How can we involve more and more youth in such kind of like initiatives?
I really love this question. Whenever someone asks me about me, I say that I'm a volunteer first. Right? I want to speak a little about volunteering that you was mentioning. Volunteering is a beautiful process where you do it unconditionally from heart. So, we all should have a giver at heart ready. Right? We take so much from life, but when you see some things, we should be like, can I make a difference there? Little or small, no matter how much it is, but do we have that heart which is sensitive enough to do our little bit? At the same time, there's a lot of learning curve involved in this volunteering. If I'm working in a corporate, can I go and sit across a table with the leadership team of the corporate just like that? Maybe someone who is working in a corporate for 10 years or a decade or more also, they won't get that one-to-one time. But whereas volunteering, in the space of volunteering, there won't be any hierarchy. You sit across the founders, you sit across the corporate leaders, industry leaders, and the learning that you get is immense. And just imagine, suppose if I'm an IT professional working in the IT space, the pool of people that I get to interact with are monotonous. They are similar to me. But this volunteering space opens multiple doors of opportunities where you can connect with various segments of society. You'll have co-volunteers who are like into construction, some of them who are into business, some of them into educational space. So that diversity, those diverse conversations will enrich you as a person. You gain a lot of insights. Network building happens naturally as a byproduct. So if you can volunteer for some causes, I would say more than what you give, what you gain from it is multifold. And in my own personal journey, the people that I am connected with in this social journey reshaped my worldview. The space from which I operate, the value system that I carry, and maybe in a way the works that I want to do as well. So dedicatedly take out some time, but at the same time I want to caution that this volunteering space is a very powerful magnet. If you go and volunteer for some time, you would want to do more of it. And one should also have a balance so that we can balance our own family life, education, academics, career, and also this thing. So volunteering should be a part of our life, I would say.
Getting back to government. So what's actually government in doing like innovation sector and maybe like policies or what actually with the new initiative? What are such kind of initiatives government is providing for youth and how someone can take advantage of such kind of initiatives in the market, in the right now in society or market, whatever we call it.
Fortunately, unfortunately, I was also part of the startup policy drafting team. Back then when I was part of Telangana State Innovation Cell 2018-2019 and very fortunate to work with people like Desh sir. I look up to him and he's a gem of a person, right? You can have extremely candid conversations where he will open up your mind about things at the ground level and you will like he was the principal secretary back then, now he's the special chief secretary. So, being a principal secretary of state, managing 3 different portfolios, the kind of connect that he has, with his portfolios on ground, it's remarkable, right? And it blows my mind every single time when I have any conversation with him. He has, the data points on his fingertips. He knows exactly, what's not happening and how it should happen, and where it's taking to start. And he doesn't wait for anything, right? He's a bureaucrat, right? India is one of the top bureaucrats in the country that Telangana is proud to have. But he works like a hardcore entrepreneur, right? Actually, very few entrepreneurs work actually like him, right? He calls up every department and make sure things just move fast, like super fast. I was an innovation fellow and he had a meeting with a decision maker at OYO. They needed something in the incubator space and I was looking into the incubator thing back then. They just called me and that was the first time I was getting this call. I was like, oops, did I do something? Right? And he was like, Meraj, I quickly wanted to introduce you to this gentleman from OYO, he's looking for this thing. Like, sure, sir, I'll get on to it. Right? So when you see people like those, working at that speed, there's no reason for you to sit back and do nothing. Right? We actually have to get out of this mindset of, what is the government doing for me? What are the policies, what are the schemes or benefits that I can technically leverage? Because the time that we are living in, there is absolutely zero lack of support or, you don't need policy to do the right thing. Or, you don't need policy to actually support you with whatever you need to, whatever you need support with, both, the government at the state level and the central. There is so much support, right? From funding, say, you have, and I'm talking about prototyping funding. I'm not talking about late stage or growth stage funding. I'm talking about prototyping funding. There are schemes like Prayas that technically give you 10 lakh rupees for you to prototype your product. Right? There are nodal centers like Hyderabad that disperse this kind of funding. Of course, there's a lot of demand and there's a lot of competition for it. But then these are those kind of things that you need for you to propel yourself. That's one. You have a lot of reimbursement schemes, right? You can basically go out and do what you want to do. For example, looking at you reminds me of jackets every time, right? So government has a scheme where technically you can get your international market exhibitions and marketing activities reimbursed up to 70%, I think, right? 70-75%, right? So that's another brilliant scheme that encourages people to go out and do things. So there's nothing that should basically hold you back from doing what you're supposed to be doing. Startup India Seed Fund is another such opportunity that any startup can basically leverage via incubators. Right? Hub is another granting agency. Rich is another granting agency. If you have an idea in life sciences, biotechnology, microbiology, you can reach out to Rich and they do a fabulous job. I think is again one of the huge inspirations, my personal inspirations. So counting like this, we have more than 50-55 schemes and policies, right? I can basically list down all of them. But then honestly, how many people actually leverage this? Not even 2%. Okay, and that's the saddest part. Now, why do people not leverage it? It's not because they can't. It's like, paperwork. Right? How many people actually got their international trip reimbursed? They can't do that because they don't have the time to just attach their bills. Right? They don't have the time to just attach their tickets and all of that. Right? So that process defines and differentiates and actually filters out the doers and people who are just sitting back and waiting for government to do something for you. So this is the problem, right? West moves really fast because it's do it yourself market. India moves really slow because it's do it for me market. I'm waiting for somebody, for an incubator to come and do stuff for me. I'm waiting for investors to come and do stuff for me. I'm waiting for my parents to go out and find opportunities for me. So on and so forth. We need to change this attitude, and now is the time, right, for us to actually get on that mindset and just keep going.
So the technology from government we had discussed like 1 or 2 line these things. With the technology, what can we do? What are the possibilities? What one can reach or boost as a catalyst? What technology is adding catalyst what they are building right now?
Technology, I think. Unless you are working on a core technology product, for example, all of us are definitely tracking OpenAI, which is a core tech sort of a product. Other than that, I think for someone like me, for example, my entire headache on a daily basis is what's happening in the tech space and what are the do-it-yourself tools and how can I leverage technology. So for people, especially people who are non-tech founders or aspiring to have non-tech things, I mean, you may want to enable or leverage the tech platform. It's about understanding technology, but more than that, understand what is the problem that you want to solve. Unless I clearly define this is the problem someone has and this is a solution, and maybe in between technology can act like an aid. Technology can act, for example, what we do at Good Clap. Don't you think crowdfunding wasn't there before? I think crowdfunding as a concept goes back to a century back. In fact, the Statue of Liberty, the foundation of Statue of Liberty was crowdfunded. And that happened when Joseph Pulitzer advertised on newspaper saying we got the statue from French, but we need a base to erect the statue. So the entire 1,000 plus, 1 lakh plus Americans have actually donated $1 each, and that's how the Statue of Liberty is now there in New York. So that is a classic case of crowdfunding without technology.
Oh, so we'll move the mic to like Meraj now, and we'll take another question to Vikas. Like there is another focus question on that. Meanwhile, you add something on the technology.
So I'll just build on what Shashank said, and I 100% agree with what he said. Technology, helps you scale things up, right? It catalyzes. If you're growing, good food, right? With technology, you can grow more good food and take it to more good people and do all of that, right? It allows. So sorry. It allows you to do more of what you're doing, right? And while that's true, if you look at what has moved the needle, it's basically not. There are very few really hardcore, technological innovations and inventions that basically move the needle, right? It's always the services and products that were built on top of it, right? So Google Maps itself basically did not solve any problem directly, right? Uber built on top of it, and that solved a lot of problems, right? So it's your ability to innovate with whatever exists right now and take it forward is what is going to move the needle, right? Same is the case with OpenAI, right? If you look at ChatGPT as is, it's a very nice, brilliant tool, right? But if you look at what people built with it, right? What people innovated with it. We built Match.ai, and there are lots of kids like me who always were afraid of mathematics. Now they are slowly, getting drifted towards maths, right? They're getting attracted to it, right? So that's the power of technology. I really wish something like that existed back then, because now we have to understand the limitations and work, or look for solutions, because 99% of the times, whatever we're looking for exists right now. It depends on, your ability to search. So we should stop, again, based on our ability. I don't really mean to say stop, but we cannot say, hey, I'm going to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? It's just putting things together and making it work. And your ability to think new, especially for one segment of the market that you really want to work for, right?
Next question, I want to take it from you people. At the end, we're going to have a Q&A, but what are the challenges you are facing right now? What are the big challenges, as in like working professional or student who is studying, or other guy who is also working on your own startup or something like that? What are the challenges you are facing?
Actually, to test the prototype which I made and the model I made, it need to be tested with a professional who is already working. So mentorship is important there.
Mentorship, they are facing the issue.
I come from BITS Pilani. I want to speak a bit about the ecosystem of BITS. So the academic program is very flexible there. It gives us a lot of free space where students can experiment, explore, and apart from the must-to-take subjects, you have a pool of electives. Based on your individual interest, you can pick and choose. There are electives from startups, there are electives from journalism. So I might be a tech guy, but I'm interested in what's happening in the outside world. So you can take journalism as an option. So like that, and of late we can see many universities opening up to electives, and also a strong alumni network plays an important role. One of the most beautiful thing about BITS is that very strong alumni network. We regularly have entrepreneurship summits through which you can get funding also. I suggest you take that leadership role, you take that proactive initiative in creating this strong alumni networks. And also speak with faculty, and we are always available. We are just a call away. Swati is a call away. So you can invite us, we can come to your college and maybe we can give some orientation sessions, or let's try to build these ecosystems within the college so that they are more sustainable. Suppose, I'll give an example. Meraj bhai always says that Vikas bhai, there are wonderful spaces in Hyderabad. What can we do for Hyderabad? What can we do for a place like Mahbub Nagar? So there's a lot of need there. And you have founders in Adventure Park where there are women founders in Adventure Park wherein on weekends they travel all the way from Adilabad, come here, work on the product and they go back. There are founders from Siddipet coming and doing that. One of them is going to be here today serving us fresh laban. So can we decentralize this ecosystem? And having said that, creating such spaces and ecosystem within the campus is the best solution.
It's very simple, and somebody said team here, right? My answers are, very specific usually, but trust me, they come from my experience, and that's the best way I can frame them. Great people find great people, right? If you think you're not able to find the kind of people you're looking for, then maybe you should change the kind of people you are, right? Changing that automatically changes everything, right? And I'm talking about absolutely atomic level stuff, right? If you think there are loyalty issues in your team, then you need to look at what's wrong with it, and that fixes a lot of stuff. So simply put, be the kind of person that you are looking for. As simple as that. The time part, trust me, we have all the time in the world for us to do what we really want to do. It's our ability to arrange those things in a particular order that will organize stuff and let that happen. Because everybody in the world has 24 hours, regardless of whoever we are, right? And it's a very common and a cliche term, right? Prime Minister say, auto wala tak, right? Everybody has 24 hours in a day, and what you are doing in those 24 hours and how actually determine how far you go and how effective that activity is. And the funding part, trust me when I say this, funding is the most easiest part of the whole thing if you're doing the right thing. When I say if you're doing the right thing, I don't mean, I'm not talking about the thing itself, but the way you're doing what you're doing. The approach is super important.
What is the best time to start working on your entrepreneurship journey? During the graduating years, right? Days you have time and constraints on you are limited. There is no financial requirement from your family, and you have some time. And college itself is a community. You can find some interns from within the college, your juniors or your batchmates. So that is the right time. With little finances also, you can start multiple experiments. So the more number of experiments you do and all, right, and that's the space where we are focusing upon. Start early, and we want to focus on Meraj bhai does founder-centric startups. More than the idea, there might be many people who have a similar idea, but it depends on the founder and also the team to take it to the distance, the culture that they have and all. So what we do is that we look for that spark and spirit in that founder, and not just monetary investment. We want to travel with the founder, see their approach, test them for a while, and if we see that right orientation in them, then we are ready to bring in the next level of funding. And having said that, whenever I speak with friends who are abroad or people who are making good money here, they'll be like, I do want to have this dream, go on to this dream of entrepreneurship, but I have my family constraints. So if there is any promising startup, please let us know. We want to invest. And many of them think that it takes a lot to invest in startups. No, it's wrong. See, just think about real estate. And I said this in a CNI conference where Revanth Reddy Garu was the chief guest there. There I asked, here in Hyderabad, there are people who are investing up to 30 crores on a villa. At the end of the day, it's nothing more than a place to stay. And how much does a budding startup need? So at the same time, we are trying to shift this. We want to question this, break this. Not like there are many places where people make dead investments. So we wanted to shift this culture. Telangana is one of the most resourceful state. There is a lot of wealth here. Even if you put a small fraction of it to use, that will make a huge impact. Regarding the government also, I just wanted to give an example. Recently, I met Department of Science and Technology along with Madhu and T. So while interacting with them, they said that, sir, we got very good budget this year to promote science and technology in Telangana. I just asked, sir, how much it is? He said 13 crores. I was like stunned. Is 13 crores huge amount for a state like Telangana with 33 districts? He said, sir, earlier the fund used to be less than 1 crore. This time around at least we got 13 crores. So as a society setting our priorities right, we should change the daily discourse. What we discuss. As youngsters, let us discuss startups. We discuss so much about movies, right? We discuss so much about politics. We discuss so much about cricket. We, each and every one of us sitting in this hall, should daily discuss about startups, what's happening here. And let's celebrate those startups. Once you can change this narrative, the funding is the most easiest part, as Meraj bhai said. On one side, if you have people investing so much for real estate and all, just imagine how much a startup founder need. So it's all a mental barrier. And also at times, we won't try to reach out to people. I'll give you one example.
I just want to add to what Meraj was saying. I completely agree with him that great minds actually attract great minds. But just adding to that, there is also a little danger when like minds are attracted to like minds, and you don't want to find a team member who is a replica of you. For example, I'll give a very funny incident. I went for a social conclave in Delhi, and I'm pretty poor in networking, so I don't know why I'm sitting here, but okay, for whatever reason.
So people like Vikas who put us.
So put us here, yeah, exactly. So I went to Delhi, it was a conclave, there were 3,000 people, and then there is one guy who heard me speak in Telugu. He comes to me and said, "Hey, Telugu Andy." And then we started speaking for 1 hour. After 1 hour, I felt, oh my God, what am I doing? I could have met him in Hyderabad also, right? Why did I even go to Delhi? So there is this problem of like minds meeting like minds. You will again find a fellow like you, and nothing's going to turn out. So you need to be careful. While I agree with what he said, great minds do meet great minds, or whatever is your mind, you meet that kind of a mind. And the big question is, how do I crack my first team member? How do I get a mentor on board?
We keep on listening with whatever experience you will be sharing, insights, everything. All these insights are from the practical learnings, not just like from theoretical learnings or something like that. It is like so on the ground. It just feels like on the ground. We will also like say one thing like get on the ground, learn, experience, and keep moving and keep experimenting. So now I would like to keep this panel open for all you people, taking like 2 to 3 questions, something like that. If you have any questions, you just raise your hand. I'll just come over to you and get you the mic.
Jayant sir. Sir, currently me and my team is building a O2O platform for event vendors, and we are right now at the stage of building a website for trial. Before that, after trial stage, we want to go for seed funding. I want to understand as an entrepreneur or a founder, trial stage में आपको कितना एक equity offer करना चाहिए? Because आप एक seed funding में अगर 20% अगर आपका equity दे रहे हो, वो जितना percentage दे रहे हो next round में आपको उतना affect कर सकता है. So minimum seed round में आपको कितना equity देना चाहिए angels को और VCs को? I just want to have that more clarity about this thing.
How many customers do you have?
As of now, we haven't built a website. We are still.
Mine, simple thumb of the rule is, rule of the thumb is, do not give away any equity before you have your first 5 customers. Okay. Now you have to figure out a frugal way for you to get to your 5 customers. And I heard you saying, I heard in bits and pieces, so please correct me if I'm wrong. You said you want to build a marketplace for event supplies, something like that.
Yeah.
So technically, my tech mind tells me it's going to take you 0 rupees for you to build it yourself, even if you don't know how to code or whatever, right? It's going to cost you like literally 0 rupees. The only money that you will be spending is on your petrol for you to reach out to as many people as possible for you to onboard them. That's it, right? So do not spend any equity until and unless you get your first five customers. Now what will happen with this is, the minute you get your first 5 customers, and if your product is something that they're really liking to use, the word will spread, and you will get your next 5 from those first 5, and now you will start, seeing steady income coming in, and that's when you will realize you might not need funding at this stage. So it is a huge misunderstanding, guys. You don't need money to start up. We've incubated 248 startups at Adventure Park.
As you come from a remote background, as you have said that you come from a remote background, so I wanted to ask, how should be a middle class student ideology or his mindset so that he can come across the barriers of their parental issues and financial issues to create something new or else to start his own or something, not only because of the financial issues, to take money from parents also he thinks it as a middle class student, he himself thinks as it as a barrier. So how come a mindset of that student should be, he can start.
If we shift our thought process, just think about a family. Today in our society, there are many people who think about income on a daily basis rather than wealth creation. We live in that society. So invariably our parents also think that we need to get into something which can give us monthly income. Right? Nothing wrong in that. But having said that, we are so fortunate and blessed to be in today's times. In a couple of decades ago, if a person from humble beginning is trying to do something, there used to be a line called as big used to eat away small. Today it's not so like that. You name the recent unicorns and the biggest of companies that you see in the technology space especially, they are not from so-called privileged background. And they are not the industry giants who are doing that. So we live in times where the fast are eating away those who are slow. If you have an idea, basically we need to start early. The dream of entrepreneurship, the journey should start early, where you have enough time, where you have friends along with you, you have an ecosystem called college. So work on your ideas. And they say that, I just met a youngster yesterday, he said that, Anna, I'm trying to work in one idea per quarter. For 3 months he works on an idea, he tries to do something. If he thinks that it's not working fine, he's meeting mentors also on the way. Then he's trying to work on another idea. If you're on a similar journey like that, over a period of time you understand how to work on an idea. And as Meraj rightly mentioned, it doesn't cost you much to start working on an idea. Especially in the technology space. If you are planning to do something in the manufacturing space and all, just to build a prototype, it might cost you something. For that model, you have, even banks also fund you. If you have a tool that you are building actually. Especially in the service industry, it doesn't cost you much. Yeah, that's what I would say. And believe in your own self, and more than they understanding us, we have to understand our parents. We might have that exposure of being in a city, but coming from the background that parents are from, take them into confidence. And if you are not wasting your time And if you are working on something which is productive, you are going to places and learning. Parents will be very happy to do that.
Hope the insights actually help you, and definitely we actually touched on the government policies and the community building, technology, and lot more many points. And thank you so much for making this long, insightful panel. And yeah, it actually makes a huge round of applause, guys. Wow. Thank you so much for joining Shashank. We are going to Vikas, and thank you so much for making this insightful panel.